Imagine a reality where you were fully tapped into your divinity. What would that look like for you? In a world where we are manipulated into surrendering our power and authenticity, there are those of us who actively heal and work our magic to help others step into their highest versions. My name is KaSandra. I am the witch, spiritualist, founder, creator, and poet of Magic of Eden. My mission and purpose is to fearlessly share my magic, art, and wisdom to help others reclaim their divinity through poetry and ritual magic. On my podcast, I'll provide tarot readings, reveal prophetic messages and visions, share my astrological insights, discuss and perform my poetry. I'll also feature other creatives to ensure an infinite space of love, healing, and world unity. Hello everyone, welcome back to my podcast. If you guys are new here, my name is KaSandra. I am the witch, the spiritualist, the founder and creator of Magic of Eden. If you guys are returning, what's up family? I am so happy to have you guys here. I am always happy to be in good love and have vibes and in spirit with you guys. Now, this is going to be a new moon in Aries reading, BDSM version, and I am nothing less than excited about doing this reading because it is the first one that I'm doing on this platform, and I am fucking shook at the fact that I'm taking this as an opportunity to expand my intuitive insight, my intuitive abilities, but also bring you guys taboo information, right? Now, I want to start off by saying that I've already got some cards pulled that I will be revealing later because I did pull some cards prior to pulling doing the actual reading, obviously, right? Before I came on here. And I wanted to gain some more insight so that I knew, a starting point of what to say and all that good stuff. But anyways, like I said, I'm going to reveal those cards later down the line during the appropriate times. Now, I've got the chart pulled up here, and we are going to be having a new moon in Aries on March 21st at 1:24 p.m. That is the time that I have the chart pulled. And I used this app, I think it's called Full Moon or something like that, that lets me know the phases of the moon and things like that and the times and what sign it's going to be in and all that good stuff. So that's how I keep track of the moon phases. And that's just for anyone that wants to know more information about that. So looking at the chart, the first thing that I want to say is that if you guys listened to the previous episode, it was the initial or the regular new moon in Aries version. And what we took from that was basically that we are using the power of our wills and projecting that out into the universe and taking action, enlightened action, to manifest the things that we want to manifest. Now, there was this element of divine masculine energy written all over that chart. Now, I'm looking at the same exact chart, and that same exact energy is implemented here as it pertains to BDSM. Now, Mars or Aries is actually ruled by Mars, and it's all about our drive, our will to succeed, our ambition. It is our primal selves. It also rules our sex drive. And I feel inclined to say that we can use this. We can use BDSM or sex or BDSM in general as a form of sex magic in order to dominate different areas of our life in a way that is productive, in a way that is safe, and in a way that maximizes the best of our results, in a way that is practical to ensure that we are manifesting what it is that we want. Now, for whatever reason, I'm being brought to kind of talk about the fact that some of us or some dominants or people who take on the more dominant role may not have felt as dominant or in control of certain areas of life as Pluto sits in the sign of Capricorn, because Pluto sitting in the sign of Capricorn is this energy where everything gets broken down and everything outside of our control then happens. And sometimes this can our ego or our will to dominate does take a really big hit. And I really do feel like at the time of the new moon, for anyone who is dominant, you can set your intention on new ways to dominate, but not even just that. You can set your intention on only controlling what it is that you know that you control in a way that is healthy, in a way that is balanced. And I say that, and it's so interesting because we do have two of the Temperance cards pulled here. Now, for those of you guys that are like, what the fuck are you talking about? I have a tarot deck. I have two tarot decks smushed together because I'm extra as fuck, but also because I feel like having two decks smushed together sometimes brings additional messages if two of the same cards come out. For example, if in your reading, well, in this reading, we actually have two of the temperance cards. So there's an emphasis on temperance energy. Now, moving forward, looking at the chart, as I was saying, I really do feel like at the time of this new moon, this is definitely a time where you can plant these seeds and start your new year off with this new insight on what you want to dominate and how you want to do it and things like that. And I feel like, if anything, during these breakdowns, you learned how to release control. I feel like some people have had a problem with being in control and being control freaks in the wrong areas of life. And I feel that at the time of those breakdowns, it's like, okay, now that I know that these things are not, in my best interest to be trying to control, now I can direct my energy in a way that is more healthy so that I can then not have so much stress and worry trying to be in charge of all these different things. And I feel like this is bringing me to this element of disempowerment that some people may have faced as, maybe a child or maybe even in their adult life. There is this area of disempowerment where you may feel as though you need to dominate to make sure or to ensure that you are no longer in states of disempowerment, because you may have felt humiliated at one point, or there is this area of humiliation actually that I'm picking up on for some people, and you use domination to make up for that. But in a sense, Spirit is saying that, is this a part of your true self? Is this really who you are? Are you someone who's really even dominating? Are you a true dominant? And your ability to dominate actually is being called into question. You know what I mean? Is this truly who you are? Is this authentic to you? And if it is not, Spirit is saying that it is time to let that go, because the last thing that you want to do is to enact this energy that is not true to you, and then you can't solidify your true self. And I think that's where alchemy comes in, because this is the breakdown of the ego. This is the breakdown of the will. This is the calcination process being, your ego being broken down by fire. And it's interesting because Mars, or Aries, is ruled by fire. So this, to me, is an indication that there are several parts of you that are being broken down and purified by fire. And that's the image that I'm getting right now. Actually, I feel that the reason why this question or these questions are being presented is because we do have Mercury and Chiron sitting in the sign of Aries. Now, Chiron in the sign of Aries kind of brings wounds, as it pertains to, in a sense of like who we are, and like on our drive and our willpower. And again, our states of disempowerment. It does highlight a wound there. And then also we do have Mercury and the sign of Aries asking the question, is what I'm doing beneficial to me? Is this beneficial to my partner or my submissive or whatever? Like, is this actually what's going to support the cause? And it really hyper focuses on our actions. And I think that this is really imperative, because not only are we finding the problem or the issue, but we're also taking enlightened action as to what it is that we know that we need to let go of, if that makes sense. Now, for whatever reason, I'm also being guided to say that some of you guys are dominant, but you don't know that you are. But everyone else around you can see it. Everyone else can see it through your actions, how you speak, the way that you walk, the way that you talk. Your energy as a whole is just simply, dominating. And I say that because there is Mars sitting in the sign of Gemini, but in the 12th house. Now, I want to highlight that there, because I feel like anything that sits in the 12th house, it's like, it deals with the subconscious. It deals with our psychology. It deals with the things that we normally don't say, that we may not pick up on, but the people around us may pick up on it first before we do. And sometimes it's really just about it is about our subconscious actions, or the things that we do based off of what's lingering within our subconscious. Now, with Mars sitting in the 12th house, to me, this makes me feel, or reminds me of, an energy that simply just has everything about the subconscious as control. And it's some people do, in a sense, kind of deal with these controlling issues. You may be in denial about it, and this is not me picking you apart or picking a fight or trying to be rude or negative, but this is me just letting you know that this is just the energy that I'm picking up on. And you can use BDSM, in a sense, in a way to help direct that energy better, so that you're not causing destruction in your life, right? So for example, if you're in the workplace and you're not necessarily a manager, right, you may be, trying to do things, a certain way, and trying to deviate what the manager is saying because you feel that you know what is best. And you may not see it as that, but everyone else around you can clearly see that. It's like, yo, like you're being controlling in an arena that you're not in charge of, that you're not even in. And I feel like this is important because when you're working with the shadow aspect of yourself, you're saying, okay, so this is what it is that I'm doing. Why? Why do I feel the need to do that? And I feel that once you start to ask yourself those questions, you can then say, aha, okay, this is the reason why. These are elements or situations that happened to me in my past or in my recent past that caused me to do this. Like, this is what's lingering within my subconscious. And then when you have things like BDSM, you can then learn how to control in a way that is, I really don't want to say technical, even though there are technicalities in BDSM that could be used, for pleasure and things like that. But you can use it in BDSM in order to harness that energy and implement it where it can actually be used in a productive way to help you express this different need or desire to dominate in a way that you're not projecting your shadow on anyone else. Because I do feel that sometimes, looking at the 12th house, sometimes it does deal with shadow projection. And I say that because, again, it's the actions, especially with Mars sitting in the 12th house, it's the things that we do and the things that we say that we may not be aware of, that it's like we project our shadow on people by the things that we do and the things that we say sometimes, and we don't realize it. So I think this is definitely, and it's so interesting because we do have the High Priestess here twice, which actually brings me to, I want to say, the dissolution step in alchemy. And because the dissolution basically is about, the further breakdown of, I don't want to say false self, but it is kind of like the false self and, the false ideas and things like that. But it's this area where you're doing shadow work. You know what I mean? And so the ashes that were created during the burning process and the calcination process are now being dissolved, in a sense, by water. So you're working with this element of intuition to further understand the shadow aspect of you. And I feel that you engaging in this BDSM, especially at the time of this new moon, you could be setting intention for doing more shadow work and for different things about your shadow to be revealed to you to help you progress more in your everyday life. And I feel that that is amazing. Also, in terms of sex, you may be, interested or intrigued in certain things that, your partner or that you may not be used to. And then the question is, okay, why? Why do you want to do this to your submissive? Why do you want to tie up your submissive? Why do you want to smack your submissive in the face? Or, why do you want to pull the hair? Why do you feel this aggression? And then I feel like with Jupiter being in the sign of Aries, it's like, okay, even though I am taking a line action, I also, with Mercury being in the sign of Mars, it says, okay, why am I doing this? What is the point? What is the purpose of this? And I feel like from there is where we can formulate, okay, this is a part of my shadow and this is a part of me that I'm implementing to ensure that I'm releasing this feeling, that I'm releasing these different things that have happened in my past, or releasing the need to do this as I progress forward. Or maybe you're someone that doesn't want to let that go. I mean, that's okay for you. But for me, the reason why I use BDSM is to bring myself healing and to express myself sexually and to really dive into the taboos of myself. So that's the reason why I do that. Also as a form of alchemy and sex magic to, manifest and things like that. But anyways, moving forward, the moon is also sitting in the sign of Aries as well. And if I'm not mistaken, it's actually conjunct or like sitting like right on top of the sun in Aries. And I feel that this, in a sense, is us awakening our desires and really taking the things that we feel, our intuitions, our feelings, our emotions, and really acting on that and using sex as a way to manifest. Now, I feel that for some people, this may be ceremonial, where you're you're drawing your sigils out, you're drawing your sigils on the floor, you're placing your candles in the appropriate places, and you're actively visualizing your desires as you're bumping and grinding and things like that. And when you reach the point of orgasm, you then release that out into the universe in order to, manifest that way. Now, I can actually do a podcast on sex magic. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just kind of giving you guys a kind of like the rundown of like how that works. So anyways, yes, like it may look more ceremonial for you, or it may just simply be you just kind of using, that passion, those hard thrusts to say, this is you, in a sense, thrusting that energy out into the universe, into the world. And this is divine masculine energy. This is fire energy. This is phallic energy, where the phallus or the dick or the penis, I'm just going to say dick, fuck that. We're all grown. At least I hope you're grown listening to this podcast, especially this episode. But the dick, we're using that, we're using that phallus energy to direct our energy where we want it to go. Now, it's interesting because we do have this stellium in the 10th house, and the stellium in astrology is basically 3 or more planets sitting in the same house and or in the same sign, right? Now, in the 10th house, we have Mercury, we have Jupiter, and we also have Venus, all sitting in the sign of the 10th house. Now, for whatever reason, the 10th house also, by the way, deals with our public life, our career, how the world sees us, and things of that nature, our job and things like that. So I do kind of feel like the fact that we're talking about BDSM is some people may want to become, maybe more managerial in their waking life, or maybe they want to be CEOs, or maybe they want to be, run their own business and things like that. So I feel that the energy that you're using in BDSM, you take that energy and you implement that also into this area of life to ensure that you are on top and that you stay on top. The energy, the passion, the drive, the will that you use in BDSM to do impact play with your submissive, to spank them, to dominate them, you also do that in a way that is healthy through the way that you speak, the way that you present yourself to the world. This is emperor energy being implemented in the career, or in the working life, in your career and things like that. And I say that because you actually do, or we do, have the emperor card here twice. This is daddy energy all fucking over it. This is daddy energy. Like when daddy comes home, we all know that daddy comes home, right? And I say that because the emperor also is very understanding, because as it pertains to people, especially psychologically, but also the emperor is also geared up because through his wisdom, or through the wisdom of the emperor, he knows when it's time to fight. He knows where to direct his energy. He knows how to do it. He knows what to say, when to say it. He knows who to say it to, and he gets that shit done, and he gets it in order because he accounts for an empire. His decisions that he has to make has to be done for the sake of the all. And so he has to account for those, individuals, but also for the collective. Now, this is interesting because, again, you may be someone that wants to be a CEO. You may be someone that wants to have their own business and things like that. So you have to be able to take that energy and say that I am going to be in control of everything, but I also have to know what I'm doing, which takes practice, it takes study, it takes understanding, it takes wisdom, it takes knowledge, but it also takes for you to apply it. Now think about it. When you're doing, your acts in BDSM, you are taking the things that you learned, you are taking this energy and you are implementing it precisely where it needs to go with precision. That's the energy that you take in your everyday life in order to manifest. You are taking enlightened action. You are taking this knowing of how to dominate, where to dominate in your life in order to be successful in whatever arena that you want to be successful in, if it is what you are called to do, if it speaks to your intuition, if it is authentic to you as an individual, right? Now, I want to stop real quick. I want to take a quick pause because I have something to tell you guys about Anchor. All right, you guys, we're going to continue. So, moving forward, looking at the chart, I want to point out a couple of things here. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is the fact that there actually is a trine happening in what looks like in the fire signs. Now, this can be, it can have its ups and its downs. Now, here is the air quotes positive aspect of this. Now, a trine in astrology is where the energy is effortless. If you can use this energy of being cardinal, mutable, and fixed in certain ways, I feel that if you harness all of that energy, you can increase your ability to be successful in whatever, right? In whatever area of life that you want to be successful in, right? Now, the downfall to this is that sometimes when you're dealing with the trine, it can be so effortless where it sometimes goes unnoticed. So if you're not careful, if you're just simply spewing energy, spewing fire, it can be too hot to handle and then it can be destructive. But if you structure it like the emperor, if you bring structure to the fire, you can then do exactly what is needed and implement how much is needed in order to make sure that whatever this is solidified in a very healthy way. Now, that's one thing that I want to point out. Now, another thing that I want to point out is as I was shuffling the cards, I heard the words subspace. Now, in BDSM, subspace is not the same thing as subdrop, and I'm going to explain. So, in subdrop, it's basically where the submissive or the bottom is experiencing the lows of emotions and feelings. They can be feeling things like anger, hurt, regrets, depression, anxiety after a specific play, a scene play or play or action. And when you are experiencing subspace, it's where the submissive or the bottom is experiencing the highs, the euphoria, the transcendence. Sometimes they can, you can become extremely aware, and sometimes you lose awareness as you're in the clouds, as you're in this magical place. And I believe that the reason why subspace came through this way was because when you're in subspace, more than likely you're going to want to do anything and any command that your master or dominance or daddy or dommy or mommy or what have you says, because you want to keep the energy going. You want to keep feeling that energy. Now, I believe that the metaphor for that is that Saturn is sitting in the sign of Pisces. Now, Saturn brings structure and it does what it needs to do so that the dreams, the hopes, the wishes, the feelings, the sparkles that we feel, the butterflies we feel, in order to keep that going, where we do what we need to do in order to make sure that it manifests, to make sure that we see it in real time. Now, Saturn says, okay, Pisces, you have these dreams, you have these aspirations, you have these things that you want. Now, I'm going to do what I need to do in order to bring structure to that and take action and be practical to ensure that it manifests here in this reality. So I believe that this subspace that we're seeing, or that I'm seeing, is actually Saturn sitting in the sign of Pisces, because I feel like Pisces is in the dream world. It's in dreamland saying, oh my God, I feel this, I see this, I want this, and I'm so happy here. And it's interesting because we have the 10 of Cups here, we have the Ace of Cups also in the card pool, but we also do have the 8 of Pentacles. Now, this is all about saying that, okay, if this is what we want to do, then we need to ensure that we withstand the test of time by doing what we need to do. And it almost feels kind of rewarding because we're taking the necessary steps and we're being mature about what we're doing and how we're doing it, if that makes sense. So I believe that's where that subspace is coming in. And it's also interesting because we do have Neptune sitting in the sign of Pisces. So Neptune being in a natural element of Pisces, Neptune being the ruler of Pisces, sometimes this energy could be really clouded, or it could be really foggy, or we see things through a kaleidoscope. It's very ethereal. It's very psychedelic like, but at the same time we can see the unknown. We can see these fractals and we can see what constructs reality in a way. I don't know why it's coming through like this, but just bear with me. We see that, but we put it in a way that can be visible and detected by the physical eye, meaning that we're taking from the ethereal and we're manifesting it here on earth. As above, so below. That is what we're doing. And because we want to keep feeling this feeling of fulfillment, happiness, joy, euphoria, we are going to do what we have to do in order to keep the energy flowing. So if you are someone who is submissive, my advice to you, or my spiritual insight that I would give you, is that you can use this time to set your intention at the time of the full moon, at the time of the new moon. You can use that in order to set intention for what it is that you want to experience through, in your life or even the BDSM, but also remembering to take the time to actually act and do what you need to do in order to bring those feelings and emotions to you by fulfilling and doing the commands of your dominance, of your master or whomever. Right? And that's how that relates to BDSM. And that is my interpretation. I feel like, oh my God, that was so crazy. I did not think I was going to be able to do that. I'm not even going to lie to you. And as I say that, I'm also getting another download, you guys. I'm on one right now. It's like 2:50 in the morning. It's about to be fucking 3 o'clock. I need to go to bed, but I'm just so fucking passionate that I don't even care about sleep right now. I'm picking up on another download here, and Venus is also in a sign of Taurus. Now, I don't know why this brings me to kind of like rearranging and like clearing out old stuff that you're no longer using, old bondage toys. And it's interesting because we do have the Eight of Swords here, which for whatever reason, that, and as it pertains to BDSM, brought me to bondage. You may want to start investing in other bondage toys, or you may want to be someone that wants to open up a shop or something, or like a sex shop where you sell your own handcrafted, bondage toys. Spirit is saying, go ahead and do that, especially while Venus is sitting in the sign of Taurus. And then, of course, Uranus is sitting in the sign of Taurus, too. So this brings uncertainty and things like that to the forefront, and especially in terms of money. So I feel like with that placement, with it being so uncertain, I feel like you can now do what you can to bring your visions and what you want to life, bring your creativity to life in a way that is practical. And with Venus sitting in a sign like Taurus, Taurus is actually ruled by Venus. This to me is also, there's something about an aesthetic. There's something about changing the way, changing your vibe, changing your wardrobe. Some of you guys may be used to being in latex. I'm hearing Spirit say you may want to try things maybe like suede or silk, or just changing different things up to bring a certain type of vibe and to really just kind of tap more into your other elements of beauty, if that makes sense. And then also I just heard that someone may be like a designer of some sort. You may be someone that was looking into, designing your own type of lingerie. Spirit is saying, do it. Do what you have to do, because at the end of the day, what this Uranus in the sign of Taurus is, because it brings uncertainty, you want to be able to bet on yourself and depend on yourself, especially the fact that Pluto is exiting the sign of Capricorn. It's in the last degrees of Capricorn. Actually, now that I think about it, it's sitting on the cusp. So, Pluto is going out with the bang here, saying that I'm going to fuck shit up as I leave. So expect that. It's like the aftershock of like a breakdown or like an earthquake. And so as it continues to break these last bits down, you say, okay, well, now that these organizations and shit are crumbling, I want to depend on myself. And you submissives, and I'm still talking to submissives here, and dominants, you may be included in this, but submissives, this could be where you learn how to dominate different areas of your life by starting your own adventures, becoming, your boss of CEOs and things like that, and, particular areas of life, and then you still being submissive in the bedroom. Okay? Also, one last thing that I feel like I want to say is that at the time of this new moon, I feel like the word dominatrix is coming through. Some of you who are submissives are asking or being called to be challenged to see if dominatrix is something that you want to get into. And I don't know why. I don't know who needs to hear that, but there's this element of Lilith, and like, I don't know why Jezebel came through. That's kind of, I don't want to say it's weird, but it's like, wow. But anyways, you may be someone who is exploring their sexuality through, different people and things like that. Okay, you do what you want to do. Make sure that you're be safe about it, of course, because safety over everything. But again, going back to dominatrix, this is definitely you maybe kind of getting into, you becoming a dominant, or you getting paid to dominate, you doing this sex work to, bring in income for you. I mean, I'm not saying, encouraging you to do something that you don't want to do, but it is being called, to the forefront here. It's being highlighted here. especially, like I said, because this is a new chapter of your life. And of course, with new chapters, bring changes. So, this is definitely you exploring your ways of also dominating too, if there is a submissive that relates to this message. Now, I want to say that is the last message that I'm picking up on here. Just use this as an opportunity to set new intentions, dominance as new ways to dominate, and what you're dominating, why you're doing it, and things like that. Revisiting those wound spaces and you bringing clarity to those and releasing those things, of course. And of course, submissives, this is your time to see if dominatrix is something that you are interested in, right? And yeah, so I really do want to say, oh my goodness, why do I keep getting downloads? I feel like for some of you guys, forgive me, you guys, I know that I keep saying that I'm going to end it, but spirit keeps coming through, and it could be because it is literally 2:56 in the morning, and I receive a lot of downloads around this time, so this is why I can't end the damn podcast. I'm so sorry, you guys. Please bear with me. Thank you guys for sticking with me right now. But anyways, so I want to say also that I forgot to mention that we do have the Two of Cups here. So this is all about divine connection. And for whatever reason, I do kind of feel like, for whatever reason, what's coming through is the fact that there may be this may be for a very small percentage of people, right? You may be wanting to explore partnerships and actual partnerships with your dominant or submissive, meaning that it may have started off as just a dominant and submissive relationship or slave relationship, but now it's like you want to tie the knot or get married or get hitched or whatever. I'm hearing the word elope. You may want to think about doing that, or you may have been thinking about that. This is a green light for that, for whatever reason. Like, this feels permanent, this feels purposeful, this feels like something that was inevitable. And I feel like, of course, with the vertex point sitting in the sign of Sagittarius, this is an action that was, I want to say that it was fated. It was like something about you doing that is going to help you in the long run. Because what then happens is the fact that you have this divine masculine that meets this divine feminine, which is interesting because we have two of the Emperor cards here along with two of the Empress cards. Two of the High Priestess cards here. So the interesting thing about that to me is the fact that, again, these two elements of divine masculine energy are meeting up together and they're forming a whole. It's like this yin and yang type of energy coming together, forming a whole, if that makes sense. And I really fucking love that, because I feel like this is more dominant, pursuant energy with a more passive, intuitive energy coming together, bringing the best of their abilities to enhance or to create this life, if that makes sense. And I really just love this because this reminds me of like a power couple, and I'm just fucking here for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this just feels so healthy, so whole, so pure. It feels fated. I really do kind of see some of you guys setting your intention for, I don't know why this is coming through, but some of you guys can probably set intentions for your dominance to come in. And some of you guys may be setting intentions for your submissives. You know what I mean? And I feel that energy is so present. And I do feel that you can set intention for that at the time of the new moon. You know what I mean? Or maybe you want to do it a day after or a couple days after. You still have 3 days before and 3 days after the new moon or any full moon to work your magic. Or you could just work your magic anytime you want to, because nothing is off limits to you. Now, let me look at these cards real quick in this chart real fast before I say that I'm done, because I done did this shit like 2 or 3 times. So let me just take one more look. Everything looks good. Everything looks fine. Yeah, I'm looking at the cards. We do have 2 Ace of Pentacles here. So this is definitely an emphasis on an opportunity here. Of course, you have the Star card in reverse. The Star card in reverse to me really is just a reminder of authenticity and like you understanding and solidifying the true you through alchemy and things like that. So I would highly recommend that you guys do more research on the alchemical process. Actually, what I'll do is I'll actually create a podcast and or a YouTube video going more into that and how it relates to BDSM. If you like, let me know. You guys should just let me know. And then one last card that we have here is the King of Wands. This energy is all about being eccentric. being loud, being vibrant, going out there, getting what you want by, using your sex appeal. So I really do feel that sex appeal energy here and ever present. And I fucking love that, because it's like, yo, like that person is super masculine, but they're very edgy and they're attractive as fuck. And I love that. And that's what's also going to help you magnetize as you go out and pursue whatever it is that you want. So using sex appeal to get what you want, not in a way that's destructive, but in a way that appeals to people, because they see that, they love it, they love the energy, they love the vibe, and they want to give to you, they want to submit to you, they want to, have all this different types of experiences with you solely because of who you are, right? So that's also an energy that is coming through. And as I look at as I look at these cards, y'all gotta bear with me. Y'all know how podcasts are. Sometimes they long as fuck. So we have the Devil card here in reverse, and this Devil card in reverse looks like, to me, the energy, I don't know why this is like a freedom, but this is also freedom through exploration. This is freedom through sex. This is freedom through bondage. Like, that's coming through. There's something so fucking freeing about being tied up, about being, about having rope around you, and about, being handcuffed and things like that, because I feel like you surrender to this divine, masculine energy, or whatever this energy is for you, whatever it looks like and however it shows up for you. You're surrendering to that, knowing that you're in a safe space. And it's interesting because we have the Devil card here, which is about restriction and constriction and, limitations, boundaries, curses and things like that. We're not going to get into the curse thing here, but I'm just saying, the fact that it's in reverse, I do feel and I do see, especially with the 8 of Swords, in conjunction with that, it's like this energy where you can just expect to be taken care of. And there's something so liberating about being fucking tied. It's like you have nothing to worry about but to receive the pain and transmute that pain into pleasure, because you're a fucking masochist, more than likely, if you're listening to this, probably. Or maybe you're not. But I'm not gonna lie, I got some masochistic ways. So I'm just gonna say that. But I ain't here to talk about that yet. Anyways, that's not what this is about. I'm just saying that there's something just super sexy and liberating and freeing about being tied up and, just simply enjoying the pain and the pleasure, right? You know what I mean? And that's the energy that I do get with this Devil card here. It's simply being able to enjoy. And I love that for you. I love that for me. I love that for all of us. I love this energy. Because we're dope as fuck. Anyways, I love you guys. That is the last of this podcast episode. I really do appreciate all of you guys for coming on here, following along with me, and for listening to me ramble about astrology and, listening to me and being patient with me as I try to connect the dots of this Mars new moon and as it relates to BDSM. So anyways, I just really appreciate all of you for spending time with me and holding space with me. If y'all need anything from me, you guys can visit me online at magicofeden.com. I am also in the process of creating a website for Shadows X Magic, or the Shadow Room. And until then, you guys can find, incense and things like that. I have butt naked incense available in my shop, by the way. And you guys can find that at magicofeden.com. You guys can also follow me on Instagram at Shadows X Magic. Remember that magic is spelled with a CK at the end. And if you guys want to explore the light side of me, you guys can also visit my other Instagram at Magic of Eden. I'll make sure I have everything linked down in the description box so that you have links to everything that you need. And again, I'm sending you guys my love, my gratitude, and may you guys have an amazing night.